All right, let's look at some more involved loops. So when I say more involved, these are going to be a lot tougher than the ones we did before. And we'll gradually get into them. But before we do that, I want to look at two key words: break versus continue. Break simply means if you have this statement inside of a loop, stop the loop wherever that break statement is executed. So the loop stops. Now you only stop the loop that you're in. So if you go more complex and you have a nested loop, remember what nested means, a loop inside of a loop. If you're in the inner loop and you break, you're only going to get out of the inner loop. You'll still be in the outer loop. So you got to be careful. The break there is for what loop you're currently in. If you actually want to get out of all the loop, if you want to get out of whatever nested loops you're in, you're going to use the word return. So return is a stronger break. So if you wanted to get out, you could use the word return in place of break, which means get out of all the loops if you're nested. So continue, on the other hand, though, would mean exactly what it says. Don't stop, but do continue. So I have a loop here. It starts at 10. Okay, it's stopping at 1. Okay, because when it gets to 0, it doesn't print. So you could say it stops at 0. When it gets to 0, 0 is greater than 0 now, it breaks the loop. It prints the value and it goes minus minus. So I'm actually doing this thing backwards. Okay, so I'm going to run this just to see what I get. Just remember all the things we had from before. So I'm going to look here and see more involved loops. I put a little thing here to remind me where I am. And it's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So one thing I could do is I'm going to show you how to use a break. So simple, I could say if the value is 5, break, stop this loop. Okay. So let's just run that and see how that looks. So let's go back. See? More involved loops, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. The loop stops once we get to 5. We don't print 5. It's over and we're out of the loop. The other one I want to show you is continue. So that's how break works. Let's go to continue. Now, if I get to 5, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say value. And again, whatever your statement you put in, this has to be before the continue. Okay. So I'm saying when I get to 5, take 1 off of value and then continue. So what does continue do? Well, continue comes back up, right? Continue comes back up to here and again and keeps going again. It ignores everything down here. Break ignores everything here, but it ignores the whole thing. Okay, break just gets rid of the whole thing. The whole thing stopped, but this doesn't stop the whole thing. It won't do that, but it would come back up and continue. Okay, so let's run that and see what we get. Okay, so here we have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Ooh, where is the 5? See, 5 is missing because when we got to 5, we took 1 off. Okay, and we continued. So we had to print 4. Now, these are two things that I'm showing here. I'm showing them just because it's good to see them. And they're also very good to control a loop. So we are in a control structure controlling our code. And we have two nice little words, break and continue, that will help us to do even more control. Now, you could only use these in a loop or switch. And again, switch will be the last thing we do in this unit. So if you want to use continue, you have to have some condition that you say, when it gets to this, I don't want anything to happen or something like that. Skip this one. Literally, that's what continue is. Skip this one and run the rest of them. Okay. Break says stop it here and don't do anything else. Okay. So I'm going to show you again one more. Okay. So if you want to return, so this return here is absolutely an overkill because I'm not in a nested loop, but it does the same thing as a break, right? See, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, no 5 because it's over once we get here. So return is normally used in methods to return a value, but without a value after here, it still can be used as a stronger break. Okay, so what we just saw, again, to recap really quickly, you could use a break, you could stop a loop, the loop that you're in. If you're in nested loops and you want to stop all of them, you use return. If you're in a loop and you want to skip an iteration, you want to say, well, when I get to this particular point here, I want to skip that and then continue, then you use the word continue. So there we have it. Break versus continue, and also return being used as a stronger break. When we come back, the next section, we'll dig right down into what you're seeing here. We'll do a lot more complicated loops where we're going to try to find some pattern. But for now, that's it.